Good day to you, sir, and welcome back. It is a pleasure to meet you again, and how exhilarating to observe that the cutlass and bowie knife that you purchased from us on your last visit have indeed seen you safely through Red Harbor. I am pleased to know that. How may I help you this time? Yes, indeed, you have heard right. Even though we are known as Yer Olde Blade Shoppe, we do in fact also trade in firearms. I might be able to take this object off your hands at a reasonable price, if you would allow me a quick examination. Thank you, kind sir. Oh, I see. I am indeed familiar with the likes. How did you come by this object again? Is that so? Intriguing. How fortuitous to find something like this on the attic of your new home. Have you shot this yourself? No, you have not. Whoever did before you found it has certainly not used it much, I can tell. I would wager that it has not been fired more than, say, 5 to 10 times, and it is indeed in pristine condition. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I might have to dampen your spirits just a little bit, because I will not be able to offer you a fortune for this firearm. It does not have anything to do with the condition, which, as I mentioned, is excellent. However, it is more a matter of its design and practicalities. Please, allow me to explain. There are certain limitations with this model, which, by the way, is called the Derringer Guardian and is crafted by a maker called Pedersoli. I would assume that they have tailored this mainly towards recreational shooting, whereas we, as you know, deal primarily in items designed for personal protection. And this is where this Derringer has certain shortcomings. If you have not used it before, you are probably not familiar with how it operates. So, if you would indulge me, the way you use it is by removing the ramrod, inserting a lead ball into the barrel and then pushing it down. Then you would proceed to cock the hammer, flip this rotating metal piece aside, which acts as a spark guard, and then you would insert a percussion cap onto the nipple. I can see by your smirk that you might have misunderstood my usage of the terminology. Let me assure you that nipple is an entirely technical term designated for a particular part of firearm anatomy, and not at all related to female anatomy. Just to clear this up, as I was not intent on making lewd implications. So, once you have placed the cap onto this part of the firearm, you would close the guard, and then it is ready to fire. Yes, indeed, this is intended to propel the projectile mainly just by force of the cap. However, you could also add black powder, which does increase the penetration force quite significantly. However, it is still not remarkably powerful, and there are some peculiar problems if you wanted to carry this for self-defense. Once you have primed it in such a fashion, you would have to carefully lower the hammer so that you can carry this, and then the hammer rests on the cap, which means that any force, any slight bump on the hammer has a chance to cause an ignition, which could leave you with a slight inconvenience if this happens in your pocket, as you might imagine. So it is not the safest option to carry around. Also, this is not necessarily the most imposing weapon to carry. I am fairly sure that you would not be particularly scared if I were to wave this in your face. Oh, I apologize, it seems you are. Please forgive me this unintentional, crude jest. But if you would look at it from this angle, a hardened rogue on the street in a dark alleyway might be less persuaded by an item as small as this with a somewhat insubstantial barrel. So, as you see, there are some challenges to this. Also, as I already mentioned, it is not the safest firearm, which is aggravated by the fact that it lacks any sort of trigger guard, and the trigger is protruding remarkably far. So, whenever it is cocked, it is quite easy to accidentally discharge it. For these reasons, like I said, I am unfortunately not able to offer you a sum that might please you as much as you had anticipated. However, I would be willing to accept this and add it to our collection for, let's say, 3 silver coins. I'm terribly sorry, sir. I'm afraid I will not be able to offer you much more than that. However, if you were to use the reimbursement to invest it into a future purchase in our store, I might be more inclined to do my best to maximize your gain. But please, let me refer to my charming assistant for that purpose. She will guide you to our monetary vault and negotiate the price. Thank you very much.
If you would follow me, kind sir.